Bentley didn't call this the Speed because they hired Usain Bolt as a test driver, though it might feel like they did. This thing blasts from 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds, leaving the new BMW M5 gasping like it skipped leg day. The Continental GT has always been the respectable Grand Tour, luxurious, comfortable, and quick enough to impress your golf buddies, but it never made you fall head over heels. Until now, the 4th gen GT Speed isn't just admired, it's adored, not just for its bonkers 782 PS or the 1000 Nm of torque, enough to twist reality itself, but because its V8 hybrid setup finally nails the balance between long-distance cruiser and daily driver you actually want to use. When a Bentley makes the M5 look slow and the Rolls-Royce Spectre seem dull, you know you're dealing with something dangerously, almost unfairly good. Design, the prettiest Bentley yet. For its latest generation, the Continental GT has gone back in time for inspiration, adopting twin single headlights reminiscent of Bentleys from the 1950s, and it looks sensational. This is not just another luxury coupe, it's the best looking Continental yet. The old models were handsome, sure, but this one has gone full-on heartthrob. It no longer looks like a grand tourer that just left the cigar lounge. Instead, it looks like a sports car that could double as a runway model with every angle sharp enough to cut glass. The headlights in particular deserve their own jewelry case. They shimmer like diamonds, without any of that awkward split headlight nonsense some brands are forcing on us these days. The wide grille dominates the front end in graphite gray, practically begging to swallow lesser cars whole. From the side, the roofline is low and sleek, while muscular haunches and gigantic 22-inch wheels remind you that this car goes to the same gym as The Rock. Move to the back, and it's another feast for the eyes. Oval taillights that mimic the exhaust pipes beneath them, both glinting like a jeweler's showcase, while the integrated spoiler emerges from the boot with the sort of grace usually reserved for champagne waiters at Michelin-starred restaurants. If beauty were a crime, this Bentley would be serving multiple life sentences without parole. Powertrain, a hybrid with attitude. Beneath the bonnet sits a twin turbocharged V8, producing 600 PS all on its own, which is already enough to make you giggle like a teenager. But Bentley decided enough wasn't enough and bolted on a 25.9 kilowatt-hour battery and an electric motor for good measure. That extra jolt adds 190 PS, giving you a grand total of 782 PS and a staggering 1000 Nm of torque. Translation: it accelerates like it's late for its own launch party. The numbers are hilarious. 0 to 60 takes just 2.9 seconds, and the top speed is well beyond 200 miles per hour. And yet, when you want to play the responsible adult, you can waft silently on electric power alone for about 50 miles. Enough to run errands or creep out of your neighborhood without waking up the neighbors. Even more impressive is that the hybrid system only adds about 165 kilograms compared to the old W12 engine, meaning it hasn't ballooned into an overweight eco-warrior. Now, it's true that this Bentley shares much of its DNA with the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid. Same platform, same engine architecture, same general toolkit, but here's the trick. Bentley doesn't just share parts, it turns them into art. The result isn't a rebadged Porsche in a dinner jacket, it's a bespoke Bentley that just happens to have a very clever family tree. If the Panamera is a surgical scalpel, the Bentley is a champagne saber. Less clinical, far more dramatic. Handling and tech. Forget any notion of the Continental GT being a lumbering land yacht. This car is a heavyweight ballerina, balancing brute force with surprising grace. Thanks to Bentley's arsenal of chassis wizardry, it shrinks around you in corners in a way that feels borderline supernatural. The car comes armed with all-wheel drive, rear-wheel steering, an electronic limited slip differential, and an active anti-roll system powered by a 48-volt electrical network. The suspension uses dual-valve dampers and dual-air chambers, which means it can switch personalities faster than an actor auditioning for a soap opera. One moment it's absorbing potholes like a Rolls-Royce, the next it's cornering with the sharpness of a sports car. Weight distribution is nearly perfect at 49 to 51, giving the car balance that feels almost impossible for something tipping the scales at 2.4 tons. The steering is precise, although it retains a touch of the numbness you'd expect from a luxury tourer, but dial it into sport mode and suddenly it firms up, giving you a much clearer sense of control. This isn't a go-kart, but compared to something like a Rolls-Royce Spectre, the Bentley feels like a nimble sports car in a Savile Row suit. Interiors. Step inside and you'll quickly understand why Bentley interiors are treated with hushed reverence. It's like entering a 5-star hotel where the concierge already knows your favorite drink. The cabin is a stunning blend of traditional craftsmanship and modern technology, combining analog charm with digital convenience. The iconic blower-style air vents make a return, gleaming like polished silverware at a stately home. Dark chrome trim accents everything from the door handles to the climate control buttons, while the gear selector looks and feels like a jewel plucked straight from Bond's gadget drawer. Then there's Bentley's famous rotating display, which is essentially 3 dashboards in one. At the push of a button, it can transform from a digital touchscreen to classic dials or even hide itself completely behind a panel of veneer, just in case you want to impress passengers with a disappearing act. The seats are more like thrones, with quilted leather that looks hand-stitched by angels, and 20-way adjustability to keep you comfortable whether you're commuting or crossing continents. The steering wheel is wrapped in a mix of microfiber and leather, delivering both race car grit and Bentley elegance. The back seats are surprisingly usable for 2 small humans, or 1 normal-sized adult you don't particularly like. Boot space is trimmed slightly thanks to the hybrid battery, but still enough for weekend luggage, or more appropriately, a few cases of champagne. Driving experience. The real party trick of the GT Speed lies in its dual personality. In EV mode, it glides silently, as if it were sneaking into a library. You can cover nearly 50 miles without waking the V8, making it shockingly practical for everyday commuting. The regenerative braking is so effective you'll see miles of range return just from spirited driving. It's as if the car is saying, "Don't worry, I've got this covered." But flip the drive mode to sport, and suddenly the V8 explodes into life like it just remembered it's the star of the show. The sound is thunderous but refined, a perfect mix of menace and music. You launch it and the acceleration pins you to the seat so hard you'll wonder if you've accidentally triggered a warp drive. Grip is immense, handling is sharp, and the Bentley suddenly feels far smaller and lighter than it has any right to. The soundtrack alone is addictive. It's not obnoxious, but it's loud enough to make you roll down the windows in tunnels just to hear it echo. The 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox shifts like lightning, always in the right gear and never caught napping. And when the fun's over, you can slip back into Bentley mode, relax in silence, and smugly watch your fuel economy improve as the car tiptoes home on electric power. It's like owning 2 cars at once, a luxury limousine and a supercar that share the same body. Comparison. The new BMW M5 might be a benchmark for fast sedans, but next to the Bentley, it feels like a very talented accountant, brilliant at numbers, but not nearly as fun at parties. The Rolls-Royce Spectre, meanwhile, is serene and beautiful, but costs significantly more while delivering less drama. The Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid is technically its closest rival, but while the Porsche is sharp and clinical, the Bentley has flair, charisma, and a soundtrack that makes your hair stand on end. The difference is like comparing a Swiss watch to a fireworks display. Both are impressive, but only one makes the crowd gasp. Price and value. With a starting price around £200,000, the Continental GT Speed is hardly cheap, but once you start comparing it to rivals, it begins to look like a bargain. A fully spec'd Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid can creep dangerously close to Bentley territory anyway, and the Rolls-Royce Spectre is in another stratosphere of cost. The Bentley offers everything: jaw-dropping performance, opulent luxury, and genuine daily usability, all in one package. It's a rare example of a car that justifies every penny, and that's a wrap on the brand new Bentley Continental GT Speed, the grand tourer with rocket shoes and enough charm to make even a Rolls-Royce jealous. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Bentley's latest masterpiece, don't forget to hit that like and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay fast, stay classy, and I'll see you in the next one.